What's up, guys, and welcome back into Breaking Boards. In today's episode, we're going to break down Monday Night Football's game between the San Francisco 49ers traveling to take on the Indianapolis Colts. And somehow, some way, this game has playoff implications for both of these teams, even though Phillip Rivers is a starting quarterback in the NFL in 2025. This game total currently sits at 46.5, with the 49ers being favored on the road by 45.5. The first thing I want to talk about here is do a little recap on yesterday. DFS did not go great at all. I went along with the chalk on DK Metcalf, and his 8.2 points or whatever it was not the way to go on yesterday's slate. Also had Xavier Worthy, chalk wide receiver, in my lineup as well, and that did not go well either. From a betting perspective, had a pretty good night last night. Lost about 300 or so in DFS. Wasn't really that invested yesterday, and then won 2,900 or so last night betting. So not a bad night there at all. So good little turnaround there. From the best ball perspective, still alive in the $20 on DraftKings and still alive in the $25 over on Underdog. Best Ball Mania 6, I believe it is. Going to come down to tonight's game. I am currently in second, and I have Christian McCaffrey, and I am back 4 points. Anything over Quinshon Judkins' 7 points will count for me for CMC, and my opponent has George Kittle with that lead there, and Kittle needs to score 13 before his score will count for my opponent. So hopefully CMC can get me into the finals there. Would be kind of cool to have a sweat going into week number 17. And then on DraftKings, I look like I've already locked up one of the final seats over there. So it could be a cool weekend next weekend, just being in the finals a couple of times in best ball. Again, if you're interested in best ball content, I'm going to have a lot of that up throughout the summer over on the channel. If you want to like the channel and subscribe, you will get that information as it comes along. But as we take a look into tonight's slate, looking at the San Francisco side first, up top at the QB position, you have Brock Purdy. I do think that he is captain viable. And for me, for this game, before we jump into this breakdown, I think that it's a slate where I won't max enter. I'll probably have 3 to 5 entries, maybe something like that, and do some prop bets for tonight's game. There's quite a few different ways to play this, but I'm not in love with the spot, and I already have so much going in the best ball streets. There's no reason for me to be, overextended in a game that I don't love. But I will say that I will have probably do it like a 3 max or a 5 max contest over on DraftKings for tonight's slate, something in that mid-range $150 buy-in, something like that. So again, don't love a lot on the slate. As we talk about cash breakdown and amount of salary that you should spend tonight, I think that you want to set a cap somewhere between, every lineup that I've built so far. I mean, my top 50 lineups, as I'm scrolling through here now, most of them are above the 49,000 range, but very few of them spend the full 50. I have a lot of 49 sevens, 49 fours, 49 nines, that type of thing. And surprisingly, I'm getting to a lot of variable captains. A lot of captains that I wouldn't expect are my top projected lineup for Monday night. So I'll probably look to get different, but I will have quite a few lineups that will have, CMC and Jonathan Taylor, as I do expect this game to, I think it goes under 46.5 for me. I think this game probably ends somewhere, 36 range. If I had to guess, 21, 15, 21, 14, something like that. I don't think Indianapolis is going to have the luck that the betting market is currently showing that they're going to have. So I do expect San Francisco to win tonight, but I do expect it to be under the total that is projected currently. But getting back to the breakdown, Brock Purdy here, he is captain viable. If I were going to pair him, I would pair him alongside probably, I'm probably looking at 3-3 or 4-2 builds. If I were going to do those types of builds, I would go with CMC, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings with Pearsall out tonight. You can look to get Pinero in there. I do like him a lot tonight. 49ers defense. Kendrick Bourne, Demarcus Robinson, Brian Robinson Jr., Luke Farrell, Kyle Juszczyk would be about where I would stop here for San Francisco. My favorite plays on the San Francisco side to go alongside Brock Purdy captain lineups would be something, 3 of these guys or 4 of these guys that you currently see on your screen. So Brock Purdy, CMC, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, or Pinero. I lean 4-2 builds. Also, don't mind mixing in Kyle Juszczyk at 1,400. Don't hate that at all. And then if you think this game ends up in a blowout, you could get Brian Robinson. But with Brian Robinson being 3,000, I tend to lean Kendrick Bourne or DeMarcus Robinson, but I don't think that San Francisco is going to have to pass a ton tonight. So if I'm building 3 to 5 lineups, I probably won't have any Brock Purdy captain lineups. But if I were building a 150 set, I would have Brock Purdy in those lineups as well. And again, you would have a 4-2 build here. So for these guys, mainly it would be Purdy, McCaffrey, Kittle, Pinheiro, or Purdy, McCaffrey, Jennings, Pinheiro, something along those lines, and then run it back with 2 Colts on the other side. And then if we look at the running back position here for San Francisco's 3 guys, I mean, your obvious main captain here is going to be CMC. You have Brian Robinson Jr. and you have Kyle Juszczyk. Juszczyk, don't mind getting him in there. He has, a few games where he's put up a solid score at 1,400 in the flex, so don't mind getting him in there where he fits in. Brian Robinson Jr. Won't have any captain ownership on Juszczyk. Brian Robinson Jr. has been fine in a couple of games. If this game ends in a blowout, he could be captain viable. I won't play it, given that, I'm going to play like 5 lineups total tonight. But if I were playing 150, I'd probably have 1 or 2 in there in case, CMC gets a random injury or this game gets into a blowout type situation where Brian Robinson Jr. gets the second half run. Don't mind playing him in the flex, though, in any kind of build. But 3,000 is a bit priced up, but not too terrible. So I don't mind mixing him in where he gets in those lineups. CMC, someone that it's going to be hard to get away from him tonight, given that, obviously we have Brock Purdy and a few other spend up type situations, but Phillip Rivers, not someone I'm going to look to be over the field on at all. So it's hard to get away from CMC and Jonathan Taylor for me tonight. We'll look to be, at the field or over the field, even in my 5 max sets or 3 max sets on CMC in the captain and in the flex. I'm getting some weird captains, so I'll probably be over the field on CMC in the flex spot, given that I'm going to play, 300 man field, 500 man field, something along those lines. So I'll need to get 2 different. And if I play a different captain, then I can get as many of these chalky guys in the flex spots as necessary. As we look over the wide receiver spot, I'm only going to look at 3 guys here. I do think if you're building 150 sets, you can go down the line, but we'll talk about the main guys. Juwan Jennings, Kendrick Bourne, and DeMarcus Robinson would be the guys that I would consider the main guys. You can include Sky Moore if you would like. That's about as far down the list as I would go personally. Sky Moore is going to be someone that if he returns a kick, I don't mind pairing him alongside the defense, but not going to be someone they get into the offense that much, in my opinion, and he would be more of a flex option versus a captain option for me. DeMarcus Robinson has had a couple of decent games here, 6.4, 5.6, but he just hasn't shown that huge upside. He has shown it in the past where he's had decent games, but I think he's more of a flex option than a captain option, in my opinion. Kendrick Bourne had some great games, but all these games that you see here, the 27.2, 22.2, all those were alongside Mac Jones. He's kind of fallen off the last few weeks, but, with Pearsall out, could he have a good game here against Indianapolis? Sure, but I just don't think it's going to be necessary on Monday night. Again, he would be a flex option and not a captain option for me. Juwan Jennings would be my favorite play here. He's been solid. I don't mind getting him in the captain spot, even in the 3 max or 5 max sets. But in 150 sets, I would look to be over the field on Juwan Jennings, given that if Purdy and San Francisco happen to throw the ball a lot for some reason, Juwan Jennings could break off here. I mean, 19.9 might be enough to get you in the captain, but it's going to be difficult versus CMC and Taylor. But that's why I like playing Juwan Jennings up top and having CMC and Taylor in the flex. And then, if you want to go back on the other side with a couple of guys on the Indy side, I don't hate that as well. At the tight end position, you obviously have George Kittle and Luke Farrell will be the next guy. Tonjes could play a little bit more tonight with Pearsall out. I do think Tonjes is too priced up for his current role, even though he was great to start this season. I mean, absolutely great, and could be a starter in the league in the near future. But I just don't see it tonight. If you want to get him in there at 2,000, you can. Same thing with Luke Farrell. Just hasn't really shown it. I mean, if he sneaks into the end zone, maybe you got something there, but I just don't see it here tonight. So even in this great matchup against Indy. George Kittle will be someone that will look to be over the field on in the captain spot and in the flex. If you have a Kittle or Jennings going back to the wide receiver position up top, you can include Purdy in those lineups, and I probably would. Building a 5 max set, I probably will have one of George Kittle captain lineups for Monday night. Next up, we have Eddie Pinheiro. He is actually one of my sneaky captains for tonight. He has been just amazing this year. You see this couple of duds there, but 11, 12, 14, 14, 18, 17. I mean, that's going to allow you to get CMC, JT, and a bunch of other guys in your roster, especially playing him here in the captain spot at 7,500. So don't hate that at all. We'll be over the field in the captain and in the flex on Eddie Pinheiro for Monday night. And then the 49ers defense, I think a lot of people will play them and maybe even overplay them in the flex and in the captain spot given Philip Rivers. But this is a 49ers team that doesn't really get much pressure. And if you're not getting pressure on an older quarterback, I think that he's going to limit the opportunities for turnovers. So I'm going to lean more Eddie Pinheiro over the 49ers defense. You play those guys as you see fit. If I were playing a 150 set, I would probably have 35% Pinheiro and 20 to 25% of the 49ers defense. Would lean more 49ers defense in the flex and would lean or be okay with Pinheiro in the captain and in the flex. As we head over to the Indianapolis side, we have Philip Rivers up top. You have Jonathan Taylor, you have Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Tyler Warren, Josh Downs, you have Blake Grupe, Colts defense, Abdullah, Ali Cox, Ogletree. That's probably where I would cut it off tonight. If you wanted to get a little bit of Laquan Treadwell if you're building and you like a lineup that has $200 salary remaining, I don't hate that at all. I think he saw 7% of snaps last week, so nothing crazy there, but it's predominantly going to be these guys that you see on your screen. If I'm building Rivers lineups, I would go with a 3-3 or a 4-2 in that he would need to spread the ball around, and most of these guys are going to have to get yards after the catch. In my 3 and 5 max sets, I will not have any of Philip Rivers in the captain spot. I just don't think that that's needed. If I were building 150 sets, we're probably talking like 2 to 4% captain on Philip Rivers. I would be under the field there as well. I just don't think that he has an upside. But if those lineups look great, I don't mind getting them in there, but it's not going to be something that I do. If we look at the running back position, you already know what it is. Jonathan Taylor is probably the best play on the slate. Given matchup expectations, I mean, Philip Rivers is quarterback in week number 16 here. Next up, you have Amir Abdullah, and that would be where I would cut this position off. I would be over the field on Abdullah in the flex spot, and actually, surprisingly, my number one lineup tonight in the optimizer, I haven't taken a look or broken down my lineups yet, but my number one projected lineup is Amir Abdullah in the captain spot. So I'm going to give that one a look and see if that's something to play in small field. I do think this is a spot where Indy should be taking to the air quite a bit. That could be Jonathan Taylor. It could be Amir Abdullah. Abdullah had 9.7 points last week. So if he gets that again this week, you are cooking at his price tag. Again, I'll be over the field in the captain and in the flex on Amir Abdullah. And I'll be taking a couple of shots, maybe even sneak him in a 5 max type set. Jonathan Taylor, you don't need me to tell you to play him. You play him wherever you can and wherever salary allows. You should get as much of him as you can for tonight's game. And I think he's in a decent spot here against San Francisco, unless this team falls way behind. But even if they fall behind, I don't know what they're going to do, as far as trying to catch back up. I don't think they possess the ability to be able to catch back up. Wide receiver spot, we got Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, and we have Josh Downs. You can go down the board again if you want to. If you want to take a look at Laquan Treadwell, I probably won't in my 5 max, but if I was building 150 sets, he's a 1 or 2% type player. These 3 guys I'm going to look at the same. I lean slightly under on Alec Pierce, given that he's more of a down the field target, and it's going to be hard for Philip Rivers to get the ball downfield. I mean, I don't even know if Philip Rivers can throw it 26 yards. So he would be someone that I would be slightly under on. I mean, he did have a bad week last week with Philip Rivers out the helm at 2.6 points. So he would be my third favorite of this group. I'd probably mix him in. If I had 150 sets, I would mix him in the captain spot just in case he catches the bomb or yards after the catch. If he catches a slant, takes it to the house, that kind of thing. But in a 5 max set, I won't have any of Alec Pierce in the captain spot. But we'll look to be slightly under the field in the flex on Alec Pierce. Josh Downs is someone I think you can consider in the captain spot and in the flex spot. I'll be over the field on him at 10.3 fantasy points last week with Phil Rivers at the helm, and kind of a cheap price tag here at 5,600. I don't mind getting some more downs in the field, and I do think he's sneaky in the captain spot. Almost the same thing with Michael Pittman. Pittman is one of those veteran guys that Philip Rivers is going to look to lean on. I think he could have a good night here against San Francisco. And he had 5.6 points last week with Philip Rivers, but he saw 5 targets. And if you throw a touchdown on there, I mean, we're talking 11.6. So he'll be someone I mix in the captain spot and in the flex for Monday night. Don't hate that play at all if you're feeling Michael Pittman. Next up, we have Tyler Warren at the tight end position, and we have Mo Alley Cox. We have Drew Ogletree. Ogletree and Mo Alley Cox are going to be flex plays only in lineups where you're spending most of the salary and you like it. Those would be 150 type lineups there with Mo Alley Cox and Ogletree in the flex. Tyler Warren's someone that you can look at in the captain spot. He has not had a great last couple of weeks, but that really doesn't mean anything for him as he could break out at any time. And another week of practice here with Philip Rivers, they're probably going to look to get Tyler Warren more involved in those gadget plays. So don't mind getting Tyler Warren in the captain spot. We'll be over in the captain spot and in the flex on Warren for Monday night. As we move over to the kicker and the defense, we have Blake Griffey and we have Colts defense. I will look to be under the field. I would be like 15 to 20% on both these players in the flex spot on Monday night. Don't love either one of these spots here for this team. Blake Griffey did have a good week last week, hitting 3 of 3 for 15 points, but I just don't think it's going to be a spot where they're going to be kicking field goals a lot. And if they get behind early, that would pretty much take him out of the game. Colts defense is fine, but again, not a play that I think you have to be over the field on or anything of that nature. So I would probably mix them in 15 to 20% in the flex if I were playing large field contests. That's going to do it for tonight's breakdown, Monday Night Football. If you guys have any questions, drop those down in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more NFL content. Appreciate you guys checking out the channel. Hopefully you take down something large on Monday night, and we'll see you guys in the next video.